This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity Podcast. These are 12 stories that we're following today, October 9th, 2023. First, the markets are somewhat in turmoil as war breaks out in the Middle East. A couple Wall Street Journal articles on what's going on in the Middle East. Wall Street Journal, Iran helped plot attack on Israel over several weeks. So also an article about Wall Street Journal, war returns to the Middle East. So far today, the futures, the markets have returned to relatively flat after being way down last night on this news. Another quote from this: Hamas's surprise attack aided by Iran is a remarkable reminder of Israel's existential threat and the growing risk to U.S. allies. Those are a couple thoughts on this, and we'll read more about this over the next couple weeks. But that's sort of today, and the market's ultimately relatively flat today after being quite down early and last night. Second, markets are up year-to-date as follows. The NASDAQ still up about 28% year-to-date, the S&P 12%, and the Dow 0.8%, about 1%. Third, there's 7 healthcare firms in the top 20 by revenues of all U.S. companies. I'll just list 3 of them here. We'll have a separate podcast that lists all 7 of those healthcare firms in the top 20 by revenues. The biggest 3, United Health Group at $348 billion, CVS Health at nearly $330 billion, and finally McKesson at $284 billion. Fourth, we've got another piece on the 5 largest firms by market cap. To that end, the 3 largest, I'll just note here: Apple, Microsoft, and Google/Alphabet. Fifth, the 3 largest U.S. firms by revenues. Walmart's number 1 at $630 billion. Amazon's number 2 at about $540 billion. And finally, Berkshire Hathaway, which is more of a conglomerate, is number 3 at $400 billion. There, just in terms of healthcare firms, United Health is 6th. The 6th story I'll note is there's 10 stocks that we watch in their year-to-date results. I'll just go through 3 of those very quickly, and there'll be a separate podcast on these 10. CVS is down 25% year-to-date. Walgreens Boots Alliance down 41% year-to-date, and Disney down 4.5% year-to-date. The biggest winners this year: NVIDIA up 213% and Tesla up 111%. 7th, the 3 largest companies by profits. Berkshire's number 1, Apple's number 2, Microsoft's number 3. No surprise that companies like with the highest profits, Apple and Microsoft, are 1 and 2 in the market cap race, with Google right there as well. JP Morgan Chase by profits is number 6. I didn't know that. An A story we're following: Advocate Health CEO Gene Woods, and Advocate Health is now a $30+ billion healthcare organization. He was featured on the Today Show, and then he also plays in a band. Advocate Health CEO Gene Woods, multi-talented, incredible person. 9th, great story on Judy Faulkner's net worth climbing to $7.4 billion. Becker Healthcare, Naomi Diaz reported on this. Judy Faulkner is the head of Epic, and what Epic is really amazing about is their consistent effort at constant improvement. It's really amazing what they've done. 10th story that we're following today: Walmart says that Ozempic, the weight loss drug, is leading to less food purchases. Jacob Emerson reported on that. The 11th story we're following today are 3 most listened to guests on the Becker Private Equity Podcast are Rick Kess and then Matt Wolf, both for RSM, and Nicholas Scholl, son of David Scholl, from the Gator Student Investment Fund. The 4th and 5th happen to be Julie Yu of Andreessen Horowitz, and 5th, David Pivnik of Milgar Woods. And finally, 12th, the 3 most listened to guests on the Becker's Healthcare Podcast: Dina Valachi, who was president of the American Association of Nurse Anesthetists; Don Cinco, Chief Integrity Officer of Cleveland Clinic; and Justin Oppenheimer, Chief Strategy Officer of Hospital for Special Surgery. To my knowledge, not related to Robert Oppenheimer, but Justin Oppenheimer, number 3rd. In any event, thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity Podcast. Just those are 12 of the stories we're following today. Obviously, a lot more to come in the Middle East turmoil and oil prices and stock market and everything else, but thank you for listening.